Well, Zac Gallen has been named your opening day starter, and we are going to talk about all of the sentimental reasons why it was the correct choice. We also have more on what's been going on with the roster moves and with the backup infielder position, as well as a Paul Skenes baseball card selling for $1.1 million. And I still think the kid got undersold. We're talking about all this in 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Dbacks show. Welcome into a Friday edition of the PHNX Dbacks show right here in Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. My name is Derek Montia, occasionally known as your birthday boy, here in the Circle K studio, once again by myself, but not by myself, because of course on the other side of the Mac, we got our guy, Kevin Thomas, on the ones and twos, aka Large Intimate. Happy
Is it your
Friday
birthday?
To you. Not yet. My birthday's on Monday, but this is officially where I take off. This is the end of the line for me. I disappear for the next 4 days. I come back scarred, bloody, with stories to tell, but nonetheless, having happily celebrated my birthday. But why does it stink in here so bad? It's like musty in this office right now.
I think it's because, as Groundhog Mama said, the ASU boys just had a 24-hour stream with a treadmill involved.
I don't like
a shark costume.
Well, there's the ramblings of a madman on our whiteboard out there.
Yeah, they left a complete mess in the studio.
Is a mess. It's insane.
The kitchen's a mess. The studio was a mess.
Cream everywhere.
Everything was unplugged, half plugged in. A complete mess that the ASU boys did leave.
Yes, they did leave a big mess behind, but I got to give them a shout out because, oh my God, what a feat to accomplish. They promised that they would do it just like I did with my purple hair. And we here at PHNX fulfill our bets. We fulfill our end of the agreement. So yes, it was great to see those guys do their 24-hour stream. I popped in on them a couple of times, got in an argument with them about their dumb presidential basketball draft, which I could tell they were so exhausted. They had no idea what they were doing anymore. Their graphic was a mess. Their draft was a mess. They were a mess, but it was a fun time to watch them out there. Now, another fun time has been watching the Arizona Diamondbacks this spring. Obviously, things are going very good for our beloved D-backs. I will say this, though. There was a battle here, right? A couple of battles, right? We still don't know who's going to end up with that final rotation spot. We did have news from Torey Lovullo the other day that I just kind of completely skipped over. I was so excited to get to the Ryan Thompson interview. I just skipped over it. But Torey basically told us that there will be no closer to start the season. I think I may have mentioned this, but I think it deserves a bit more attention. He basically said that decision might be made over the course of April, or he might continue to go with a closer by committee. I don't know how much I like that idea. However, I feel like the biggest thing here when it comes to spring training is, as good as a job all of the relievers, maybe all of the high leverage guys have done, none of those innings are real innings. None of those innings are actually closing a baseball game in the ninth inning and getting the save. So I think some opportunities are going to be given, and I think maybe he might go based on, matchup, who he's going to go with. But I do think that it's still an ongoing tryout. However, the decision has been made in regards to who is going to start for the Arizona Diamondbacks on opening day. And Torey Lovullo announced that it will be Zac Gallen going on opening day. And it's no surprise here. It's not even a bad decision. I don't think that there's any way to really look at it in a negative. I think that there are some people that will. I think there are some people that very much want to see Zac Gallen go out there and or wanted to see Corbin Burnes out there on opening day based on the way he's pitched and based on how good he's been. And rightfully so. It's understandable. Great to see so many of you guys here in the chat. Early happy birthdays. I love you guys. I appreciate that. Rye says, reportedly Martinez has been extended. I have no access to confirm that, but if that's the case, that's very, very exciting news, especially if they've done it this early in his career. And of course, it's always great to see Erica Day here. It's a good day when Erica Day is here. But back to this battle here with the Arizona Diamondbacks or Zac Gallen starting on opening day. I don't think there's a wrong choice here. You take a look at Zach's spring stats. Again, it's spring training. It's not super important, but Gallen has been very good. 9 1/3 innings pitched, 8 hits. He has a 2.89 ERA. 3 earned runs allowed, a 1.39 whip, and 10 K. Gallen is healthy. He looks good. And I think more importantly here, more than stats go into this decision. Sean says, I wanted Burnes, but I'm fine with Zach. And I think that's the sentiment. I think a lot of people were excited to see perhaps Corbin Burnes start on opening day, but there is a lot more that goes into it. And I think that there's 2 ways that you could look at this. The Arizona Diamondbacks very much want to bring Zac Gallen back at the end of the season. They probably understand that he's going to test free agency. They might have even encouraged him to do so. Mike Hazen has said in the past that he absolutely encourages his players to know their worth, know their value, and then give the Arizona Diamondbacks kind of an opportunity to make an offer that maybe will keep you, here, right? So there is that. There is something to be said about the fact that the Diamondbacks want to do everything they can to bring Gallen back at the end of the year. Making him the opening day starter is a move that can help with that. Even if it's just one little move, one small move, I think that it's something that's worthwhile, right? And, again, it also goes to the fact that let's just say Zac Gallen doesn't return to this team. Let's say Zac Gallen's intentions are to sign elsewhere. Maybe he knows it. Maybe the team kind of knows it. Maybe internally it's kind of like a Vladimir Guerrero situation, right? Where making it very apparent that he's going to go elsewhere, right? I think everybody can agree that Gallen has earned this and deserves this based on his time as kind of a final honor. And he said it is an honor to him to be named opening day starter. You could tell that it meant something to Zach, and I think that's the reason why. I think Corbin Burnes at the end of the day probably is a fine choice, but I think even he is probably okay with the incumbent ace getting that opportunity over him. And it really doesn't matter. It's a 1A, 1B situation, really, no matter how, you might even say a 1C situation with Mayoral Kelly, right? Ryan Thompson said it on this show that there's a lot of teams that would like a lot of the Diamondbacks starting pitchers to be on their team. And a lot of those guys would be potential opening day starters more than just Zac Gallen and Corbin Burnes. So Gallen he was very good in what will probably be his final start of spring based on my calculations. Diamondbacks won yesterday in a game against the Oakland A's by a score of 11-3. I called them the Oakland A's. I probably should stop doing that. I don't know what to call them.
Never let it die. Don't let it die.
We should never let it die. But yes, they beat the Athletics by a score of 11-3. They improve to 15-12. Kevin, do you care? Does it good? I mean, it's good, right? It's better than having a bad spring training record to have a good one compared to other teams.
It's not negative, but no, I don't care.
You don't care?
No.
I mean,
it's fun. It's fun.
Proven, right? It's
fun.
Proven that there's no direct correlation. We've seen the Diamondbacks be good in spring training and then come out and, absolutely be terrible to start the season. So I don't think that's the case with this team. I think it's very encouraging that they are on a good stretch. It's also encouraging to see them beat the tar out of a team by a score 11-3. Gallen was excellent in that game. He went 4 1/3 innings pitched. He gave up 5 hits, 1 earned run, walked 2, struck out 2. I guess excellent is a little strong, but for spring, it was a good outing for him. And again, the Diamondbacks, good overall outing for the team. Pavin Smith, all hail Pavin Smith. It's everything you guys ever wanted and more. Pavin Smith was 3 for 4 in this game with 4 RBI. He had a triple. It cleared the bases. Pavin Smith is now hitting .317 with a .404 on-base percentage and a .916 OPS with 1 stolen base and a home run. So there you go. Pavin might be that guy that we've always wanted Pavin to be this season. The Diamondbacks could use that. Let's be honest. I mean, Pavin's going to get some opportunities at DH. He's going to get some opportunities at first base. He's going to get to play. And I think that it would be amazing to finally see a season where Pavin Smith was a major contributor to this team. For everybody that has been, watching his career ever since the Diamondbacks drafted him. I think we've all kind of wanted this, right? We've absolutely wanted this. So great for Pavin Smith. In regards to the backup role for the infielder, the battle for the backup infielder role, I kind of reversed those words around. Both guys showed out, but there was a weird conclusion to this story. Garrett Hampson, he was 3 for 4 in that game with a walk. He scored 3 runs. Meanwhile, Ildemaro Vargas, he was 4 for 5 with an RBI and 4 runs scored himself. Both guys played a major role in the blowout victory. And then today we get the news from John Heyman that Garrett Hampson has opted out of his contract, his minor league contract with the Arizona Diamondbacks. So, yes, I mean, his stats this spring were pretty good. He's a super utility infielder, as Torey loved to call him, and he played all over the diamond. So there's a lot of teams, I'm sure, that are interested in him. There is very much the possibility that maybe with the injuries to, like, the Rockies just had Thairo Estrada. He's been lost to 4 to 8 weeks, I believe they said, with a broken right wrist. A couple of other teams are still looking for a similar role. So there's a good chance that maybe he was told after the game that he wasn't going to get the role. That way he had an opportunity to still maybe sign with another major league club. But Ildemaro Vargas has done a great job himself, right? So I don't know if it's necessarily, I feel like it was a tough decision, especially considering Hampson's versatility, but yeah, let's take a look. Ildemaro Vargas, he's been killing it this spring. He has a 341 average. He has a 408 on base percentage, a 976 slug. He had 2 home runs and 9 RBI. He's been playing some great defense. So yeah, I mean, he earns it right now at this point. I think that it's really the reason why we probably saw Garrett Hampson opt out. We could see him return on a major league contract. There could be that as well, and this could just be the gap. Don't know if that's necessarily the case, but we definitely we'll see. We'll see here soon. Vargas, though, if he wins the job, he definitely deserves it and earns it with the way earned it with the way he's played this spring. It's not just like a default situation. He was definitely, in my opinion, the front runner, and the only thing that kept Hampson in it was his versatility there. Like I said before, there were some other roster moves the other day that we overlooked. We focused mainly on the Dre Jameson, Jordan Lawler situation because both of those I think are a bit heartbreaking for fans. At least the Dre Jameson thing is heartbreaking for me personally. But Kyle Nelson was also optioned to AAA Reno, which again is wasn't someone I think that had a strong showing this spring as far as vying for one of those bullpen roles. But it is interesting because the bullpen options are dwindling for this team. It kind of is trending in a direction where we very much could see the 2 starting pitchers who do not make the starting rotation end up in the bullpen. Scott McGuff was reassigned to minor league camp, as was Trey Mancini, which just sucks, man, because Trey Mancini is such a good story, such a tremendous person. And of course, it would be great to see with what he's done this spring. I mean, it wasn't due to his performance. He absolutely shined this spring for the Diamondbacks. So I think it's just a matter of the roster spot perhaps was never there for him, but they did want to get a look at him, and he could, be added to the depth that this team is most likely going to need. Let's see, what do we got here? Jordan PM says, I got a funny feeling we see the updated City Connect this Monday. It's the first game technically at Chase Field. Jordan, I had an interesting comment the other day at the What's New at Chase Field event that they held, where they showed off all of the giveaway items for this year. The Kids Club item with that Lourdes Gurriel Jr. plush that I will figure out some way to he will be mine. I'll steal him. He'll be on the show as my co-host. I'll put him in a little seat next to me with headphones on. He'll be adorable. We might have matching purple hair. But what did happen at that event was Derek Hall made a mention that the City Connect jerseys are most likely not going to be revealed by opening day, which kind of might be a little contradictory to what we heard. We did hear that they would be released at the end of March, which could still happen. Those 2 things can still exist. They might not be out by opening day, but they might still be out before the end of March. There's a small window there, about 3 days after opening day before we were into April, but we might not see those City Connect jerseys until then, which was news to me because I was expecting, much like yourself, some sort of an unveiling soon here, like on the other side of of this weekend for sure. Maybe on my birthday. I'm going to see how many times I can mention my birthday on this podcast and just be very, very self-fulfilling or I guess, what I wanted to say here, Kevin. Kevin's not paying attention.
Self-aggrandizing?
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. I knew you'd know the word.
I'm always listening to you, Derek.
I know you are. Tonight, though, buddy, Diamondbacks take on the Brewers, and the Dbacks 1B starter, Corbin Burnes, is on the mound for them, if you will. Their number 2 starter. That's just such a wild thing to think, like, oh, wow, in the starting rotation, Corbin Burnes is the number 2 starter. But let's take a look at his numbers as he faces off against his old team, because once again, in comparison to Zac Gallen, if you were going numbers for numbers, Corbin Burnes been putting up some good numbers. 13 and 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 11 hits. He has a 1.35 ERA. He's allowed 2 earned runs. He has a 0.98 whip and 17 Ks. Burnes is locked in. This guy is ready to go. And like I said, his old team stands before him tonight. I know it's just spring training, but I'm sure he's going to be in regular season form against his old team. Maybe just a little bit of pettiness there. I don't know. I would still have pettiness if I was him, but just saying. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, we have so much more to talk about. I needed to take a little drink there. But on the other side of this break, we are going to talk about an unfortunate situation with a Dbacks minor leaguer getting suspended and why this is still happening in 2025. You are watching the PHNX Dbacks show. Don't you go anywhere. Well, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365, much like it is never ordinary around this office with these ASU guys doing a 24-hour stream. Speaking of stream, Bet365 live streams 780,000 events every year. They also pioneered live in-game betting. They make live in-game betting more fun. And they offer the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. I personally will continue to bet the over on 2.5 3-pointers made by Kevin Durant until it hits. I don't know what's going on with that bet, but I will bet that until it hits. But tomorrow is a great chance to bet on basketball. It's another Bet365 Slam Dunk Saturday. You can place a qualifying parlay bet totaling $20 or more on tomorrow's NBA games, and you get up to $25 in bonus bets. Terms and conditions apply. Don't miss out on that deal. If you're a new customer, don't miss out on getting $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use that code of PHNX365 when you do. Deposit $10 and place a bet of $5 or more to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Well, of course, if you want to elevate your brand, you can do so with Branded Bills. Some of their wonderful hats are behind me and on my head at a lot of times. I've also made my own Branded Bills hat, but they can make you your own for your company, for your brand. It doesn't matter. If you want to stand apart from the crowd, Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. You can start your order and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. They do some wonderful work over there with logos, patches, rubber designs. They're fantastic. So make sure to check out everything they have to offer. If you're a customer, just check out all of the hats they have for U of A, ASU, Phoenix Suns, and more. Rep Arizona with some crazy hats that they have over there. They're a local company from Mesa, Arizona. Head to brandedbills.com and use code PHNX for 20% off your first order. Oh, we got some big news, by the way, here. Our guy, Michael Dixon, a trusted source. I trust that Michael Dixon has checked this out for me, says that Justin Martinez, 5-year extension, $18 million. No, you are not late to this news. You are very on time. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. Kevin, locking in the youngster. What do you think about that? That's pretty good, right? Another Mike Hazen masterclass here, $18 million for 5 years.
Definitely seems like a buy low spot, right? You mean, if the value you can get out of this guy by year 5, the development that he can reach by year 5, it's a very encouraging sign, and also a sign that they believe that 5 years from now he could be a big part of the team.
I mean, remember, today's money is not tomorrow's money. So I mean,
we're going to talk more about that later too.
Right, we are going to be talking about that when it comes to baseball cards. But man, that's a big deal. I wish we had some more information on that, and I will for you for sure. Whenever I come back, like I said, I'm taking off after this show, but that's great news. And again, if Justin Martinez can be the closer of the future for this team, we've already seen the stuff, right? We've seen his stuff be incredible. So I think it's a matter of building that confidence. I think, if I'm being honest, that's once again why Torrey hasn't chose a closer yet. There's a good chance that Justin Martinez might be the number one candidate for that role. You just need to see how he's going to react when put into those big game situations. And you have to see how all of the guys are going to react. I mean, again, throwing back to that Ryan Thompson interview, it's more of a mental thing. It's not really like it's harder to close games in the ninth inning. It's just about having that mental attitude about going out there on a night in, night out basis and being able to close games down consistently, right? Justin Martinez has the stuff to do it. We've seen that. It's just a matter of, again, if he's ready and, making sure that his development is far enough along for him to accept that role, right? It's a big responsibility. He's still a very young man. So I will verify that still. But I trust Michael Dixon. I don't know. I don't trust a lot of people in this chat. You guys have led me wrong before, and don't act like you haven't. You remember. But anyway, speaking of leading people wrong, Dbacks minor leaguer was suspended. Listher Sosa was suspended for 80 games on Thursday for violating the league's performance-enhancing substance program. Tested positive for the PED, methadone, an androgen, and an anabolic steroid. Not a great thing for this Diamondbacks team. I know at one point that there was a lot of praise for Listher Sosa so far for this spring. So that's it's a big time setback. Obviously, I just can't believe that this is still happening in 2025. I understand the importance sometime, or why at times the I understand why this players choose to try to do this. I understand how sometimes there's it's more than just an advantage. A lot of times it's about recovery. It's unbelievable to me that any player that has an opportunity to play at a major league level or minor league level in 2025 doesn't think that they're going to get caught, and hasn't had enough examples of this at every level. It strikes me that in the same way as if you got caught betting on baseball. I don't care the amount. You could tell me it was $5. If you told me it was $5, I would think that was dumber than you betting $150,000. Like, at least if you were swinging for the moon, like, go for it, right? Like, if you're putting your career on the line for a $5 bet, that's dumb, right? So this sucks. It's an unfortunate setback. I mean, when you take a look at Listher's numbers so far in the minor leagues, I mean, he had himself a pretty good season with Amarillo. He had a 3.46 ERA in a very minor amount of time with them last year. But again, there's that these are the kind of things that could potentially damage your career and irreparably damage your career. So and I think the Diamondbacks take this kind of thing very seriously. Being around the organization as much as I am, I could just feel like reputation is so big. We've talked about that in regards to players that they add to the clubhouse, and how big you as a person, who you are, matters to this organization. And it's definitely a difficult situation to come back from. But again, it's just more of like, I can't believe this is happening in 2025. I really can't.
It is kind of unbelievable, right? Especially when you're going with an anabolic steroid. I feel like, as an MMA fan, right, there are a lot of fighters that try to get away with certain things, and some fighters maybe are getting away with certain things right now. And I feel like there are more.
Do they get busted more for actually, like, for the steroid, or do they get busted for like a masking agent or something like that? Because I felt like there was a period of time where that was more prevalent than
I mean,
actually getting caught.
There are some studies. There are some studies on, like, John Jones, who, like, failed multiple PED tests, about him being on a PED outside of camp, and then using a masking agent to try to change things that way. But yeah, I mean, this is just, it's very disappointing, right? Because you are so close to what you've dreamed and worked so hard your whole life to achieve, and then to kind of undermine your own hard work by taking a steroid and then getting caught for it, and then getting stripped of that opportunity for 80 games. It's very disappointing.
It's just, I don't know. It's one of those situations where I very much feel like I said, like, I don't know. You talk to these players, you hear how hard it is to, get that opportunity. And then when you do possibly have that opportunity, wanting to do everything you can, but again, you can jeopardize that opportunity with doing something frankly dumb like this. So kind of unbelievable. Not in the same sense. Like, again, Michael said impeccable segue. How about this one? Not in the same sense, but it's also as crazy to me in 2025 that a manager is banning cell phones from his major league players. How about that for a segue? Ron Washington banning cell phones. Angels manager has reportedly instituted a no cell phones in the clubhouse rule during spring training. I don't look, as someone that sits on the couch next to his spouse and wants to conversate with her at times, but she's too busy playing Candy Crush. Like, I understand wanting to institute a no cell phone rule at times. I have a 13-year-old daughter. I very much want to institute a cell phone ban. I do sports for a living. They want to institute a cell phone ban in my house, but we're all kind of adults, including the 13-year-old girl, and we all have free will. So Washington does hope his decision will carry over into the regular season, the 162 game regular season. He also says that he hopes his decision will allow the ball club to be more focused on baseball. Now, that part might not be wrong, right? Like, when you do have a cell phone, I mean, I remember at one point Joe Mantiply had PS5 with College Football 25 in his locker, and I was like, what are we even doing here? I want to get in on this game, right? Like, I don't want to go out and practice or stretch or do any of this stuff. I want to go, let's play some college football, right? So I get it, but Ron Washington did say it's not a punishment. He just wants some focus. Players who violate the rule will be fined. Washington had suggested a $500 for the fine. So I think that there's going to be some players that are just like, hey, give me one of the, can I get like a coupon book? Can I just pay you 25 grand now and you just give me, and I'll just give you little slips of paper whenever I get a fine. So it is definitely, Sean says that's an odd choice or an old school choice of odd choice of an old school move by Washington. I put your two things together there. I got it. Yeah, I mean, I guess it is. Ron Washington strikes me as the kind of person that probably hates cell phones based on his years of experience, right? Like, that's something that's come into our lives recently that definitely feels like it would be distracting. Just the fact that players, I imagine a player getting a text message is kind of often, and there's a lot of times where they're just answering people back or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, they're foolish enough to talk to me at times, I guess. So I can understand how sometimes they just have time before a game to waste. But anyway, weird choice. I'm glad the Diamondbacks don't have to run their team like that. That's something I would never imagine Torrey doing. He just loves his boys too much. And again, you put the right people in place. You walk around that clubhouse. I mean, to be honest, I was joking about the Joe Mantiply thing, but you don't really see a lot of guys on cell phones, to be honest. You see guys dialed in. You see guys ready to go. So, I mean, I can't say that there's been a time where I've walked into the clubhouse and seen a bunch of the players for the Dbacks on their cell phones.
I was going to ask you that, Derek. You feel like you're being paid so much to live out your dream. I feel like most people are probably pretty locked in on what they have to do, right?
These are big boys. They know what they do, right? And I mean, honestly, if you're not giving your full attention to the thing you're doing, then there's a chance that you could lose your spot, and there's a chance that you might not make the team. There's some personal accountability, but considering that these guys like travel and get time on their own when they're in like a big city or whatever, you kind of have to let people have their freedom to a certain degree. But I also, like I said, having a spouse and a child who both have cell phones that are always on them all the time, I also still want to institute a cell phone ban. But I will say this: make sure that you stay up to date with all of the news in the Valley here with sports news with our PHNX newsletter from my guy Patrick Brown. He does an incredible job. It's the biggest news in Arizona sports in your inbox daily at 6 a.m., completely free. You can be the biggest, the smartest sports fan that you know. So go to gophnx.com/newsletter to sign up for that. On the other side of this break, I am concerned, Kevin. There is maybe something. There's maybe a little problem with old HB 2704 to improve Chase Field, and we're gonna have to. It's mayoral business. I have mayoral business to take care of on the other side of this break. So don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Mayor Show. Well, of course, cornbread hemp has been something I've talked about improving my life, mostly because of sleep. I don't sleep well. I don't have a problem falling asleep lately. It's staying asleep, especially if I fall asleep early. I'm not getting a good night's sleep and staying asleep until a decent time in the morning. I'm waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm wide awake. And cornbread with their first ever USDA organic THC gummy can help with that. Their mission is to improve your quality of life with the highest quality hemp. And you know what? We can switch over to a healthy happy hour with a natural and healthier way to experience a carefree moment. Cornbread's THC gummies offer a balanced sense of happiness and relaxation. 10 milligrams of THC per gummy for the right dose. Megagrams would be awesome, by the way. That sounds like it's much bigger than milligrams. But Cornbread uses no harsh solvents like petrochemicals or industrial acids. Unlike other hemp THC products, there's no synthetic ingredient. So if you haven't made Cornbread gummies a part of your life or weekly routine, do so now. You can check out the specific benefits that they have because they have different variety of gummies that can help you for different things in life. And of course, if you're looking for uplifting gummies or a better night's sleep, check out everything Cornbread has to offer, especially if you're looking for a healthier way to enjoy those carefree moments in life. They've created the first ever organic THC gummy that's 100% legal as a special offer for PHNX listeners. You can get 30% off your first order. Just visit cornbreadhemp.com/PHNX and use code PHNX at checkout. Again, that's cornbreadhemp.com/PHNX and use code PHNX for 30% off your first order. Cheers to a healthier happy hour. Also, last night we got together, the baseball boys got together. I'm not trying to exclude Kevin. He was invited. He just didn't show up. We also didn't invite Sean to pause because he lives very, very far away. But one thing we did enjoy as a group was some wonderful Spinato's pizza, because it doesn't matter where we're at. Even if we're at the pizzeria or if we're at home, we're enjoying Spinato's. You can too. It is the place for Suns fans to go. You can stop by for your chance to win free Suns tickets, gift certificates, and more exciting prizes. Come by for the watch parties. The Phoenix Suns dancers are out there. My pal, the gorilla, is out there. And again, you can play a game of horse, but Spinato's, they spell it a little differently. They spell it Pizza. So make sure to check that out. You can feel the energy, cheer for the Suns, and win big. Get all the info on the watch parties at pizza basketball contest at spinatospizzeria.com. Spinato's official pizza of the Phoenix Suns. All right, well, before we get on to all of this HB 2704 nonsense and mayors sending letters to governors, we got some super chats. Michael Rokicki, my guy, says unveiling the City Connect on Derek's birthday would be on brand, seeing how much the Dbacks hate Derek having a personal life. Yeah, I'll probably be in a movie. I was looking forward to going to see the new Captain America movie this weekend, but Michael, as you know, I'm gun shy about that because there'll either be some sort of trade happening. Again, I've taken Jordan Montgomery off the market. You can't have him anymore. Or something like this, the City Connect jersey unveiling. You're absolutely right. BCom see clearly. Thank you for your super chat. He says, Espo is my father, and we have to do a DNA test. I love you, Dad, and go Dbacks and win the World Series. Me and Espo are going to have a talk about this. This is, I think this is good news. I'm excited. I'm thrilled to welcome you into the family for sure. But something else that's not so thrilled to be happening around here is old HB 2704. As you know, that's the House bill that's been approved by the House. It's moved on to the Senate. And it is the bill to essentially have taxes that are generated at Chase Field, all taxes, including the income taxes generated by the people that work there, including the income tax generated by those players that make a whole lot of money, would all go to helping with renovations for Chase Field. And we've discussed this already. But the other day, on Thursday, a letter was sent by Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego to Governor Katie Hobbs outlining 6 problems that she has, 6 major concerns with HB 2704. We wanted to cover those really fast. I'm not going to make you read through this whole thing. But the first being that current projections for the bill's cost are significantly underestimate the taxpayer contributions, meaning that they are estimating amount that this bill is going to generate every year. But when you start looking at the amount that it's going to generate, and you factor in, again, the player income, the revenue or the taxes generated from player income and other taxes, the amount totals close to $1 billion over 30 years, right? So there is that, and that's more than the estimate suggests that the Diamondbacks would collect from taxes in order to do this. Now, the bill does say that no matter what, the taxes have to be used for renovating Chase Field, but those renovations have a wide span, and that's another issue that she kind of addresses here. But the second issue that she had is that technically House Bill 2704 does not require the Diamondbacks to contribute a single dollar to Chase Field's renovations. Now, the team has already discussed how much they're committed to putting towards renovations and also how much they've already contributed to renovations for the building. But again, like what she's saying here, there is technically no formal commitment in the bill to make the Diamondbacks have to contribute more money to renovating this building. It's not to say they wouldn't. I think the Diamondbacks want to do everything in their power to upgrade Chase Field to being a premium fan experience, right? It's just that, yes, I mean, there is no commitment here. So, I mean, there is a possibility that that's fixable. That seems like an easy fixable thing because I think the Diamondbacks would be willing to commit in the bill to their contributions on their end. The third thing is that the cost to taxpayer far exceeds the team's publicly stated needs. And that goes into basically saying what your fourth concern is that taxpayers could pay for luxury amenities to be added to Chase Field and for the upgrades to exceed beyond just repair and improvement of the ability, but for suites and other things essentially that, I mean, again, I don't think it would be much of a surprise there, but considering the contributions would come from both the taxes and from the team, there's no way to clearly define where those, funds are going. So you could easily accuse them of putting funds from the taxes towards, luxury suites or luxury amenities. She also brought up the bill's adjacent buildings clause creates an easy to exploit loophole where they can kind of make other, right, like use this to create other buildings kind of attached to Chase Field and perhaps achieve that, entertainment district, more of an entertainment district that they were choosing, trying to get to. And her last point being that Phoenix taxpayers are forced to pay nearly $200 million for property the city doesn't own or control. And that's where this entire situation with Chase Field is so confusing, and it feels like a lot of finger pointing, a lot of blaming other parties. And, at the end of the day, Maricopa County does have responsibility for this building. The responsibility has changed. The ownership and things have kind of moved around. But again, that's what's just so funny about it. It's kind of like nobody wants to assume responsibility for that building, because when they do, then they know that liability for improvements and repairs and things are going to fall squarely on them in some way. Right. And I don't know. I don't know what the real answer is. I don't feel like this bill, again, much like other bills that have essentially put the taxes generated by a sports facility, which, again, I hate to throw it out there, but could be just an empty building that doesn't house a major league team in a few years, right? How those taxes could, be turned around and used to go back to the facility itself, right? They've said that these taxes can't go to paying players or income or anything like that, right? But this is one of those situations where it's more viewed as those taxes that are generated by that building being taken away from all the other city services that are paid for by taxes here in the city of Phoenix. It's not a great situation. I won't lie, but I also still think that as far as ideas in order to make Chase Field a better experience for fans and to improve that building, this is one of the best ones we've had so far. Groundhog Mama says whoever owns the building should pay for the repairs and maintenance, but the county does not want to pay for it. It's such a stupid fight. Politicians never learn. And again, I think that's the thing is it's a fight. It's becoming contentious, and I don't want that. At least for the most part, things were moving in the right direction. Obviously, the mayor of Phoenix very much has her place to state her concerns with this. And I believe she called it a major boondoggle at one point in her letter, which is something. But again, I think that there is something to be said about what having the Diamondbacks here does for the city of Phoenix, versus what potentially them not being here does. And I guess from a political standpoint, you tend to look at what are the benefits from this franchise existing in our city do, right? Yes, it brings joy to our hearts. Yes, we've all been privy to the power of friendship thanks to this team. We all, the memories and the bonding, there's so much sentimental value that goes into owning a sports franchise or having one in your team. But beyond that, looking at the dollars and cents, looking at the ones and zeros of the situation, right? Like, the taxes being generated by the team are a big reason why cities want a sport franchise in their city. It's the reason why, they contribute so much to a city. And if you're taking those taxes away and keeping them all internal, not all of it, just a major portion of it, then, again, it could be seen as what good are you, right? And that's something that we as sports fans shouldn't stand for. And I honestly think that the idea of a place that might not exist if a team wasn't there generating, tax revenue, that the majority of it goes back to improving the facility that the team plays in that isn't owned by the team, then I don't know. The Celtics just sold for like what? $41 billion, something like that. Is that how much they sold for?
I don't know the exact number, but yeah,
I might be
that,
putting too much there, and the building doesn't even come with them. They don't even get the building. It's owned by the Bruins, right? So I don't know. Sometimes it's all about the ownership of the building. But hey, I will say this: I do very much want this to be figured out, and I would like the Diamondbacks to just have a lease, just for my own personal well-being, for my own mental state. I need them to figure something out and just stay here, just not do any of this. But of course, I do have to let you know that all mayoral business is brought to you by All Pro Shades Concepts, because of course they can block out the sun and allow us to really focus on the political issues. If you want to extend your living space with a custom fit awning, make sure to do so with All Pro Shades. So, but yes, like this, again, this situation sucks, right? I mean, the last thing you want to hear as a Valley sports fan, once again, is something that could put a team that is here in jeopardy of being here.
Yeah, and it's just too soon from the Coyotes and everything, right? Like, it's not even like the
It'll
wound.
always be too soon.
The wound hasn't even started to heal yet on that, and there's already fear that it could be coming to claim another franchise. So yeah, it's always unfortunate when the business and politics of life have to interject into the sports team's fates.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Sean, I think, says it best, though. He says, I feel like it will get worked out, but I hate seeing political setbacks. And yeah, that's it. But again, you got to voice your opinion, and the only chance to do so as the mayor of a city is to do so before a decision is made, right? So at least appreciate at the end of the day that what they're trying to do is make sure that all of the other services that you could very much argue are far more important, far more life-saving than a sports franchise still receive the funds they need to properly operate. That's becoming a big problem right now in today's day and age with anything federal or government related. So, it's an understandable concern. On the other side of this break, we're going to stop talking about political stuff, stop talking about mayoral business, and we're going to talk about whether 11-year-old kid who pulled the Paul Skenes MLB debut patch card, 1 of 1, got maybe a little screwed on how much money he received. We're going to talk about this on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Again, big shout out to All Pro Shades. They are a great company for you to check out. They've been right here in the Valley for a very long time, in business for 20 years in the Valley, and they started out by hand making shades for friends and family in Phoenix. Now they are one of the largest installers of patio roll-down shades and motorized awnings in the Valley. If you have an old or outdated patio shade or motorized awning, they can fix or replace them. If you're looking to just add to your outdoor space, they can extend your outdoor space with a custom fit awning, and they can also help you block out the sun with roll down patio shades that block the sun and keep patios up to 20 degrees cooler during the summer. Again, they're licensed, bonded, and insured. And if you are looking for an estimate, call them right now at 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadesconcepts.com now to schedule your free estimate. More importantly, if you need a home to put your customized awnings on, you got to look to the Carol Royce team. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you're a seasoned home buyer, Carol Royce can help you achieve whatever goal you're trying to achieve. Of course, if you're a first-time home buyer, Carol can help you get into your first-time home, and she can also help you with a plan for you to eventually get to your dream home. She can assist with financing and make sure that you have a trusted partner that will walk you through the process of purchasing your first home. Let me tell you, it's a very important decision, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. I'm so glad that I did purchase my home. I'm glad I got the interest rate I did. And man, I could have really used Carol Royce when I was doing it, because I was young and I was very unfamiliar with the process. If you're worried about financing, Carol works with the best lenders, ensuring you get the rates best rate and loan options. She can also help you find access to off-market properties that haven't been picked over. You won't find these homes on Zillow or Realtor.com. Carol's so confident that you'll love your new home that you buy from her that if within 18 months you aren't happy with it, the Carol Royce team will buy it back from you. So there's a guarantee that most home buyers and sellers will not provide you. If you're ready to find your dream home, take the step now. Call Carol Royce or visit Carol online at carolroyceteam.com. That's carolroyceteam.com. Terms and conditions apply. Well, we got big business to talk about, and that is baseball card business. And while my guy Kevin doesn't really want to talk about BAPIP or a lot of other things when it comes to baseball, he does want to talk about baseball cards. The Paul Skenes card, which we have talked about before on this show, the one that the Pirates so desperately wanted to acquire once it was found by an 11-year-old boy who put the card up for auction. He did not sell the card. He did not give the card to the Pirates. He did not take their deal. He pulled the Paul Skenes card and sold it for $1.1 million. That's insane. 1.1. Imagine being 11 years old with access to $1.1 million.
But see, that's what I was asking you earlier, Derek, when we were talking about this pre-show. Does the 11-year-old have access to that money? Whose pockets are being filled?
Well, I'll tell you.
Is it being put in a bank account stored for later? Like for him, or is it like, we're going to go move into a new house as a family?
We're Shohei Ohtaniing this money, and I don't mean we're betting it all away. I mean, we're going to put it into a high-yield savings account of some sort that's going to make money, right? But the kid gets a line of credit, as far as I'm concerned, for whatever he wants. Go-karts, sugar, video games? You can have all the video games, Michael says, hey, that's college money. You can't knock it. No, I'm not going to knock it. But what I will say is that the $1.1 million is a lot of money. I think it's a fair offer for a baseball card. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that any baseball card can sell, let alone Paul Skenes, who, no offense to Paul Skenes, I think he's proven himself. I'm not going to say he hasn't proven himself, but I mean, we're talking about a guy who is still not even a full 365 days into his major league career yet, right? So I mean, it might just be a little bit early for a card to be selling for $1.1 million. Of all active MLB players, only one single active MLB player has had their cards sell for more, and that is Mike Trout, $3.84 million. So that's the only active player that has a card that's sold more for than 1.1. Paul Skenes, interestingly enough, Kevin, will earn $875,000 from the Pirates in 2025.
Crazy. It's just crazy, Derek, because you were talking about how Skenes hasn't really accomplished like very much yet in his career, like from a historic standpoint, right? But like this is kind of the thing with like the entire sports card industry as a whole right now. I'm noticing because
it's hot right now.
Super hot, and a lot of people are just like pumping money into it like crazy with rookies, especially with like rookies and players that are yet to be determined. You want to be in on the low end of it so that by the time they become the greatest of all time, you look like a genius and you can sell that card for tenfold.
That's why I bought 5 Stephanie Vaquer Tops Now cards when she won both championships on NXT. That's for a very small audience.
But then for every one of those, there's someone who bought that $1 million Wander Franco card.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's the thing that happens. Someone spent over $1 million on a Wander Franco card, and then he does the horrible things that he allegedly did.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point.
And so there's just so much money,
and you never know what's going to impact the value of that stock, including the market itself kind of dropping. Right, like cards could become less interesting. I know there was a time where I would go to Target early in the morning because I needed to get like just a couple of things for the day, and there would be a bunch of guys out front. This happened on more than one day, and I asked one of them one day what they were all doing, and they told me that it was the day that the new Hot Wheels dropped, and that they were going in because there's like one of one Hot Wheels sometimes that come out of the box when they open up the new shipments, and these grown men fight over them because that's how you get them for essentially the $1.50 or whatever that they cost, right? So it's pretty crazy, but yeah, no, I think that $1.1 million for a guy, as Michael Dixon said, has 23 starts is a a lot of money. I also think that the Pirates offer, if you take a look at it now, I'll preface this.
Wait. Before we get to the Pirates offer.
I gotta get to the Pirates offer.
No, before we get to the Pirates offer, I have breaking news about this.
What?
There's a YouTube channel I follow. They're also like a in-person card shop, I think in Michigan. Sports Card Investors.
Okay.
Right? They say, breaking news, the buyer of the $1.1 million Paul Skenes debut patch was revealed to be Dick's Sports, possibly. So maybe Dick Sporting Goods bought the card.
Wow. We have Fanatics being part of the auction and now Dick Sports potentially being the buyer. That's insane.
Not
What is
confirmed, not
happening?
confirmed, but it is what I'm seeing as of 30 minutes ago.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
And now you may get to the Pirates.
No. That was good. That's good information. The Pirates offer included a crazy amount of stuff. And if you do the math on it, the kid might have gotten shortchanged. Now, he wasn't going to get $1.1 million from the Pirates, right?
But why not?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm just saying, though, he wasn't going to get $1.1 million. What he was going to get, Kevin, was 2 Pirates season tickets behind home plate for 30 years. He was going to get a meet and greet with Paul Skenes. He was going to get 2 Paul Skenes signed jerseys. He was going to get a Pirates game with Livy Dunn in her suite. Most importantly, that's the one that I'm like, you didn't. Oh, man, if he was 13, maybe he would have taken this offer. And the Pirates said much more than that, right? Like, I'm sure you were going to get all the hats and shirts and jerseys and stuff you wanted, right? But just doing some quick math here, right? I went over to the Pirates website, didn't get a clear answer on this. They wanted me to get a ticket agent involved and stuff. I'm not going that deep. I'm not that good of a reporter. You guys know that. But doing some quick math here, I did find that the tickets right now, the cheapest ticket that you can find behind home plate ranges for $200 to $800.
Okay.
So just taking that ticket, saying as a season ticket holder, you're paying $200 per ticket. That would total out to $972,000 in today's dollars, not in future dollars, which we know season tickets are probably not going to go down for sporting events. The inevitable apocalypse could happen in the next 30 years. That's totally could happen. But what's not going to happen is season tickets going down. But Sean's right. I think the big question is, where does the kid live, right? If you're not anywhere near Pittsburgh, that's not a good deal. However, you can sell those tickets. And essentially, it does require much more work than just taking this $1.1 million from the auction. And yeah, maybe he doesn't live there. I mean, there's a good chance that whoever pulled the card wouldn't live there, right? So that's why the Pittsburgh Pirates offer would be the hardest to claim for like an out-of-state resident, right? Somebody that doesn't live in the Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh area. However, I still think that like there's a lot more money you could have generated from selling them than you could have from this one-time offer. It just requires that work to sell them each and every year, right?
Derek, I honestly feel like there's another layer of the. Not only do they not live in Pittsburgh, reportedly, but also does the kid even care about Paul Skenes or Livy Dunn? Are we you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people buy cards.
Yeah.
Like this could have Emma, for example. Emma Spots, our social person.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend is into cards. She doesn't really know much about cards. She brought in a couple packs for the ASU guys to open up on their 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
If she pulled the one-on-one Paul Skenes,
yeah,
she doesn't give. I mean,
Yeah.
she is a baseball fan, right? But she wouldn't. I think she'd take the $1 million. I'm not speaking for her, but I think she might take the $1 million over a meet and greet with Paul Skenes and Livy Dunn, and then a high see you later.
Here's the biggest X factor for me: the tickets behind home plate. They include a pregame buffet, as well as free food in your seats and non-alcoholic beverages during the game. For 81 games a year for 30 years. I might move to Pittsburgh for that.
You would move to Pittsburgh for that, Derek.
I'd have a summer home there. I mean, we live in Arizona.
You might be the first person ever to have a summer home in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, brother.
I love that park. That's a good ballpark. It's a good ballpark. I might have taken up on that deal. But one thing we have been teasing quite a bit on this show, I guess, or at least more on my social media, is that we have a big announcement to make. And that big announcement, once again, is not what I'm going to be doing for my birthday. Although I will be over at the Pembroke now that it reopened. So I know no free ads, but it's my birthday and I can do what I want. Max can't stop me. Pembroke reopened. It looks beautiful. I can't wait to go check it out. It was one of my favorite places to hang out. Glad it's open. It opened right in time for my birthday. So I'll be hanging out there. But very excited to announce that after next week, we have a 3-day schedule next week for Wednesday. And then we're going to bring you a pregame and a postgame show on opening day and another postgame show next Friday. But after that, that is the last time that we're going to be doing 3 shows per week because the PHNX Diamondback show is going back to 5 shows per week for the regular season. Let's go.
Yeah!
We're back.
Wow,
we've never been more back. So I'll tell you this much, though. I won't be doing it alone. I'm very excited to have some special guests joining us throughout the season. I know that one of those names that I can reveal to you right now is one Dalton Feely. Our guy Dalton Feely is going to be stopping by regularly to join me on the show to give his thoughts on the Snakes, and we couldn't be more excited about that. Not only is he a Warehouse Games MVP, but Dalton Feely is an incredible fan of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So I look forward to having him on the show here joining us, as well as Damon Dog is going to be returning to the show, especially now that spring training is over and we do not go the same time as the Arizona Cardinals podcast. So you will have much more of Damon Dog on this show as well. I'm very excited to have him back. He brings a level of enthusiasm that I just can't I just can't muster up anymore. Those days are behind me, but Damon can get still really mad about trivial stuff, and we need him for that. We need that level of energy. So I personally have to just say I'm very excited to come back to do 5 shows a week. I know that this whole period of time has been very tough for all of us, and I know you guys have been very amazing. I appreciate you guys, your support, everything like that. For me personally, I love doing this. It's the only thing I want to do in life, and I've had a very fun time doing it over the last 3 years, and I look forward to doing it hopefully into the future more. But yeah, having Damon back, having Dalton join me, we're going to have Jack on from Sports Illustrated. We're going to have a lot of our friends on more often. So we're also going to be bringing you post-game shows. I discussed it with our diehards, but part of this is going to be that our home post-game shows are going to be going a little bit later, and I hope that you guys don't mind that part because I am but one man. So I will be over at Chase Field doing some of the post-game show stuff, including going into the clubhouse and getting some player reactions to whatever happened in the game, getting Tori's post-game press conference stuff so that I can bring it back here and have it be on the show with us for those post-game shows. So again, I hope that all works out. I don't know exactly how late we're going to go. I do know that a lot of people have said that they're excited for this because if they're at the game, it'll give them a chance to deal with traffic, get home, get comfortable, and hopefully join us for the late night, maybe a little Dbacks after dark kind of action. But I just, again, wanted to personally thank you guys so much for your support during this. A lot of this hasn't been easy for a lot of us here at PHNX, so we're thrilled to be back here at 5 days a week for sure. So for next week, though, like I said, we're going to be having a show on Wednesday. We're off. No Mailbag Monday this week, but good news, Mailbag Monday will never go away. It'll never die. Every Monday will be Mailbag Monday. We'll cover what happened over the course of the weekend and preview the week for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So the Journey asked, whatever happened to Archie? He got really into golf and then it just kind of disappeared. Archie will be back too. Archie's not going away neither. I just think Archie right now has taken a little bit of time off, and rightfully so. That man has a lot of things going on, both in the hunting and golfing world. So you should follow him on Instagram, though, because he's an amazing follow, and you can definitely see whenever he'll be in town. We'll try to wrangle him in here. But Michael Dixon said, nope, have a newborn baby and we'll be awake anywhere. Bring it on. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. I hope to see you guys all here. AZ Catch G, thank you so much. He said, happy to see you 5 days a week, Derek. Happy, very happy to be back 5 days a week. So again, I think the biggest thing is this Arizona Diamondbacks team is going to be an incredible team to watch this season. And I think, you know, we need this coverage, right? We can't have a team be this good and then just keep doing 3 days a week. So that
people need the mayor, Derek. What is a city without its mayor?
I don't know. Sometimes I'm going to abandon you at some point to go to WrestleMania. But aside from that, I'll be here all the time. So
you're not going to try to stuff me in the suitcase, man.
We'll see. See. I might have one space in the car, but we'll see. But, again, I love you and appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for everything. And we did watch a little bit of the 2023 Game 7 NLCS or Game 7 of the NLCS 2023 last night. So we are baseball sickos, but man, we love this team. So again, appreciate you guys so much. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. I am at cap_caveman with a K. My guy Kevin is at Kevo Posts. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks. But as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Man, feels good to say, but we're going to be back to 5 days a week here really soon. So we thank you again for your time. We appreciate you guys stopping by. We'll be back next Wednesday. So it's a lot of time. Make sure to behave yourselves. I will not be behaving myself because Again, it's the birthday thing. I'm 44. I don't know how many more of these I have left in me, but I'm going to celebrate each and every one of them. Remember, none of us are here for a long time, so we should all be here for a good time. Remember that. Again, appreciate you guys so much. We'll see you next Wednesday. Until then, behave yourselves. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when your favorite show covers it 5 days a week.
We all silly like the mayor.